All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to rank the final four teams in the NFL playoffs. A couple of things. So the Patriots did hire a new defensive coordinator, Terrell Williams, and then also Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers. He'll be staying in Tampa, so he's taking himself out of the running for the Jaguars head coaching job to stay with Tampa. So that's good to keep the continuity going with the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield had another solid year now with him as the offensive coordinator, so that's good getting him back. So just a couple of notes that I wanted to make. But let's get into these top four teams, shall we? So we did talk about the Commanders, and they actually are number 4 on the list here. Now, you're probably rolling your eyes and saying, more disrespect to the Commanders. Listen, they're in the top 4. They're in the final 4. I mean, it's unbelievable what they've been able to accomplish this year. And they just continue to make me look dumb because I did not have them doing much this year. And I've continued to say that over and over again. But they did something that I thought was possible because, I did do the segment on which one seed has a better chance of being upset. And I did say it was the Lions. And the Commanders went in and did that. And a lot of that has to do with the quarterback play of Jane Daniels. He has been spectacular. And, the Commanders, they took the ball away. They scored points. They made it tough on the Lions. And it was too tough for the Lions to overcome. And they're in the NFC Championship game. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how last year this team won 4 games. And now this year they're in the NFC Championship game. Give them a lot of credit. They're going up against a divisional opponent in the Eagles. They split with them this year. The second game they won towards the end of the game, and Jalen Hurts, of course, suffered a concussion in that game, but now he's going to be playing the full 60 minutes, right? So we'll see how it goes. But, and if you remember, and I brought this up yesterday, the first time they played against each other, Jayden Daniels was a little banged up too. So both quarterbacks are going to be fully healthy going in. And, let's see how he does. I expect him to play well. I think the Commanders are going to give the Eagles a hard time in this game. And even last year, when they weren't very good, they gave the Eagles problems last year. The first game when they played in Philly, that game went into overtime. Jake Elliott had to kick a game-winning field goal. And then the second game in Washington, they gave him problems too. So now the Commanders are a better team. And, they split. Now we'll see who wins the rubber match. But, Jane Daniels has been unbelievable this year. Probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And, I'm happy for Terry McLaurin because, it's been a quarterback carousel for him since he's gotten into the league. But he has found his quarterback. And, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, they've done a great job with this team. And they're only going to get better. So even if they don't win on Sunday, they'll be back. So I got them at number 4, though. So at number 3, I actually do have the Buffalo Bills. Coming off of a win against the Ravens, they built up a big lead in the first half. Then things kind of slowed down for them. The Ravens, they creeped back into the game. But the Bills were able to, stop them. Well, the Ravens kind of stopped themselves. Mark Andrews dropping that 2-point conversion. But still, the Bills, they were able to pick up the win, get to the AFC Championship game. Josh Allen didn't put up big numbers in that game, but didn't turn the ball over. And they built up a lead in the first half. They capitalized on mistakes by the Ravens, and that ultimately made the difference in that game. It's going to take a lot for Josh Allen and this Bills team to overcome and knock off the Chiefs. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the show. But Josh Allen's playing good football right now. The Bills' defense is going to have to step up against Patrick Mahomes. But they're, once again, one of the teams left standing. One of the final teams left standing. It took a couple years for them to get back to the championship game. Well, a little bit more than a couple, but they made it. And, let's see what they do on Sunday. But I got them at number 3, actually. At number 2, I actually got the Philadelphia Eagles. Passing game has not been great so far in the playoffs, but it really hasn't had to be. Now, when the Eagles need the passing game to step up, we'll see what happens. I think at times this year it has. But when you got Saquon Barkley running the football the way he's running it, and then you got the defense playing as well as it has, you don't need the passing game to really do much. Saquon was just spectacular once again on Sunday. Jalen Hurts also had a rushing touchdown early on that got things started for the Eagles. The defense, took away the ball. Stafford fumbled, Kyren Williams fumbled. That made the difference in the game. I feel like, because I think the momentum started to shift back towards the Rams, especially after the safety. But then, Kyren Williams fumbles. The Rams defense did a good job holding the Eagles to, field goals. But then when the Eagles got the ball back and made it 28-15, it was maybe a little bit too much to overcome. The Rams are right there at the end, but, Jalen Carter gets the sack of Matthew Stafford, and, they didn't convert on 4th down. But I think, when comparing the other 2 teams left, I put the Eagles, the other 2 teams that I just ranked, I like the Eagles over both of them right now. I think the Eagles are a complete team. They're one of the 2 complete teams left in the tournament. Their defense, look at what it was last year compared to now. It's night and day. The signings from the offseason, the drafting, the young players in the secondary, and then Zach Bond, who's an all-pro linebacker, Jalen Carter up the middle. This is a complete team. And, they didn't need Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown to be spectacular. They just rode Saquon Barkley, who wants to get it over 200 yards against the Rams. And, we'll see what happens on Sunday. I think the passing game is going to have to they're going to have to step it up a little bit more. But, again, we talked about Jaden Daniels. We talked about Josh Allen. Jalen Hurts has not turned the ball over either. So, as long as you don't turn the ball over as well, you'll be okay. I'm curious to see how this game goes on Sunday. Is Jalen Hurts going to have to step up and, use his arm more? We'll find out. But both games are going to be good. That's all I know. And then finally, no surprise here, you got the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1. First of all, they have that championship pedigree. Their win maybe wasn't as flashy as maybe some of the other games, but they got it done. Defensively, they got after the quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, again, another quarterback that played mistake-free football. And they did what they had to do. They handled their business and got the win over the Texans. I can't put any other team ahead of the Chiefs right now. They know what to do come playoff time. Now, they got a tough opponent coming in the Buffalo Bills, who know them very well. But the Chiefs will come ready to play. And it might come down to, like I said, who blinks first, who turns the ball over first. We'll find out. But I got to put the Chiefs ahead of everybody else, because they've just been there so many times. They're once again in the AFC Championship game. Still never lost in the divisional round in the Patrick Mahomes era. They know what's expected of them. And it's going to take everything that the Bills got to knock them off. So we'll see what happens. But that's how I got the rankings. So to run through it, we got the Commanders at 4, Bills at 3, Eagles at 2, and then we got the Kansas City Chiefs at 1. Let me know what you guys think about these rankings. What would your rankings be? Let me know in the comments. And that is pretty much it for the show for today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We are halfway through the week. We will preview the games on Friday. We'll find out if there's any more coaching news, things like that. And if anything breaks, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But like I said, appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure to check out all the other shows as well. Give the other shows some love, like I always say. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the video as well. And I will have the show broken down into the 5 segments on both YouTube channels later on today. And make sure to look out for the shorts that I post throughout the day as well. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So as always, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.